Let's have a look at how the categories are formed within our Magento store then. So again, this is a very standard template of a Magento store, and we can see here's our Magento store's logo. So that would be obviously our store's logo, and underneath we have this navigation along here. Now this is known as the category navigation, and a couple of things to note about it is that firstly it's a dynamic navigation. Okay, so if I was to go and change the name of these categories, that would be reflected, so in the admin, that would be reflected on the front end of the site. And also if I was to, for example, decide that I wanted the category in between luggage and sun cream, the back end of the site, I would create that category and place it in that position, and then assuming I don't need to refresh the cache or re-index data, then that category would appear in between them when I next looked at the front end of the site. There is also sub-navigation, and if I click over here on accessories or hover over on accessories, you can see that we've got two subcategories within there. And those subcategories are basically just subcategories of accessories, and if they exist and they're visible, then they will appear in that drop down. Okay, and we'll look at how all of these are put together. Just a couple of other things as well about the category itself. Let's have a look at a category that maybe has a few products in there. So this is the luggage category. You can see we've got several products in here. We have a sort by, and you'll see in the drop down on here we've got position, name and price. Okay, by default your store will always sort by position, but you will see there's a flaw in that, which I will go through as we go through here, that means that actually no position is dictated in the order that the products are displayed. So we'll go through how we can rectify that. We can also create our own sorts as well. Okay, so let's have a look at how we go about doing that. So we may want the sort to be by material type. Okay, so we want all the leather bags first, followed by the ABS, followed by the fabric bags. Okay, so we could create our own sort position. You would also notice here that there's an option which is to sort ascending or ascending. Okay, so that basically clicking on that toggles between those. Okay, and reverses the order. Again, because position, there's a flaw with position, that actually doesn't work on that particular one. If I was to choose name instead though and reverse those, it starts off in alphabetical and then reverse alphabetical or vice versa. Right, we've also got this here which is view as, and we can view this page as a grid or we can view it as a list. Select list, it shows the products in a different way, and this is something we can also force at system configuration level, so that when a customer lands on a page, they are by default shown the list view or by default shown the grid view, and we can also restrict it so they can't actually toggle between those as well. All right, and then finally over here we have how many items we're willing to show at any given time, and obviously the more items the customer shows at a given time, the more system resource is required to actually display that page. Okay, so let's go back to looking at how the category itself is put together. So I'm going to go back to the back end of the system, and under the catalog menu you'll notice there's an option called Manage Categories. So I'll select that. Okay, so what we can see over here, firstly over on the left hand side here you have this folder structure. Okay, we've got two buttons up here, add root category, add subcategory, and then we have this folder configuration. Okay, default category indicates the root of your folder. You can have multiple roots. We will discuss that much more in the section which is about running multiple stores. So we're not going to talk about multiple root categories in this particular course. But if you want to know more about that, have a look at the multiple websites course. Okay, so beneath that you can see that we have t-shirts, luggage, sun cream, shorts, swimwear, accessories. Okay, and then two grayed out categories here. Right, the order that appears in actually is the same as the order that our categories appear on the front end of the site. So what these actually are is a list of the categories. The number inside indicates the number of products that are in that category. You'll see later on that the number of products in that category doesn't actually necessarily mean that's the number of products that are displayed on the front end of the site, just the number of products that you happen to assign. There's all sorts of factors that might mean that that product isn't actually displayed on the front end. Grayed out categories represent inactive categories. Okay, so these are categories where there's products in them, but they are not visible on the front end. So the categories themselves are not actually visible on the front end of the site. These do serve a useful purpose. It is a good way of containing certain products within a certain place. So you can maybe run catalog promotion queries on them or shopping cart promotion queries on them. So it is a useful thing. We're just going to focus on these ones that are not grayed out for the time being. Okay. The plus icon alongside a category notes that there are subcategories within there. So in our accessories category, there's a hats and sunglasses subcategory. If I have a look on the front end of the site, hover over accessories, we can see there's a hats and a sunglasses subcategory within there. Okay, so that denotes subcategories. Okay, so let's have a look at a category itself. So I'm looking at t-shirts category. I'm just going to go into general information, which is the first tab. So there's actually 4 tabs going along here. We've got general information, display settings, custom design, and category products. Right, firstly the name, t-shirts. That name dictates what the label will be here on the site. Okay, so we called it t-shirts. Is it active? If I set that to no, save the category, you'll notice that it's now grayed out. Okay, so by having it set to yes, this enacts the next field down, which is the URL key. Okay, so the URL key, go to t-shirts, the URL key indicates what the website address of this particular page is. So without this page being in the navigation, I could in theory go directly to that page. This ties in with another feature right at the bottom here, which is included in the navigation menu. I can create categories that are not in the navigation. Okay, the reason I might do that is potentially for landing pages, for advertising campaigns, or if I just want hidden categories that maybe can only be found through navigation or maybe through email marketing. Whole load of reasons why you may not actually want your category to actually appear in the navigation menu. So by selecting that to no and refreshing the page, you will now see that the t-shirt category has disappeared. However, the URL is still active. So even though I can't get to it through the navigation, I can still get to it by going directly to that URL. Okay, I'm just going to put this back onto grid view. Okay, let me put this back to be visible in the navigation menu. Okay, there's a few other fields in here that I will come back to in the next section, which is about creating a category. But I just want to show you some other important fields. In display settings, we've also got this option here, which is anchor. And this is quite an interesting one. Is anchor, if I go and have a look at, let's say, a sun cream product. Okay, so I'm looking at sun cream. You'll see over on the left-hand side there's this filter. And the filter shows us groups of pricing and groups of brands. And in brackets after the pricing, there's 7 and 3, and then the brands is 5 and 5. What this is saying is that this is a filter. It's showing me all the products as it is. But if I was to select that I only want to look at products that are priced between £10 and £19.99, it's going to apply a filter and only show me products that are priced between £10 and £19.99. Likewise, if I'm only interested in products that are, let's say, Piz Buin, and that are also priced between £10 and £19.99, I can go on and select that, and now it's only showing me those 3 particular products. Okay, so this is known as the filter. It's also known as layered navigation, and it's also sometimes, in this case, referred as is it an anchor. And is it an anchor means, do we want a filter on this particular page? So for our t-shirts page, if I was to set that to yes, save the category, and now go back and look at the t-shirts page, you can now see over on the left hand side there is a filter where previously there wasn't. Final tab is this one here, which is what products appear in that particular category. So if I wanted to add more products to this particular category, you'll notice at the moment the only when I go to the category products, all it's showing me at the moment is the products that were already in that category, and that's because a filter has already been applied. You can see here it's showing me only show products that are yes, so already been ticked. So if I want to show all of the products, because I want to add more in there, I need to hit reset filter. And really, to add another product, you just tick on the product that you want to add and then save the category. Okay, and now we're going to have a look at t-shirts. We've now got 2 products in that category.